Bienvenidos todos. Welcome back to the Ecopoder podcast. Very happy to be joined by my colleagues Claudia and Jose from Arizona. Shout out to Arizona. If you're listening in, comment down below. Let us know where in Arizona you're located. Very excited for today's episode. We are going to be talking about updates from the HERES program so that you can have access to more support, more help, have your questions answered right. And we also want to highlight the amazing environmental justice panel that we had just recently in Arizona at our Poderosa State Summit. And Claudia was actually a panelist, so we're very happy to be joining you here today so that you can recap us on what happened and some takeaways, right? Some things that we can let listeners know who might have missed that. But we'll be recapping again, like we said, and we'll just get right into it. Se los dejo so that we can dive in and celebrate the stories that impact leadership and driving the Ecopoder forward, right? Our movement. So I'll start by passing the mic to y'all if you want to introduce yourselves. Claudia, do you want to go first here?
Yeah, I can go first. My name is Claudia, they, she pronouns. I was born and raised in Arizona, so I grew up outside, so easily environmental issues became very centered for me. And just acknowledging all the ways that it affects our day-to-day life, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that. But I also just want to take time to I grew up around a lot of Navajo culture as well as Yaqui culture, so just acknowledge that. Jose and I are in our Phoenix office today, occupying Hohokam land territories, so I just wanted to throw that in there as well. And a lot of our work is, learning from the past.
Hello. Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon for everyone that's tuning in to the Ecopoder podcast for another special episode. Jose Flores, I'm the Ecopoder coordinator here in Phoenix, Arizona. He, him pronouns. We just finished up the Arizona Poderosa Summit last week. It was a powerful summit. I'm still kind of reeling in the emotions and the motivation and inspiration that we heard all throughout the summit. Day one, we had a lot of amazing panelists. Claudia was on the environmental justice panel, but we had a lot of inspiring speakers. Everyone who was on the panel, everyone who was a keynote speaker, was a Latina leader here in Phoenix, and I think it just speaks to the work that we do, the movement that we're building here in Arizona. We're a minority-led, woman-led movement. We always have been. The social justice movement has always featured Latina leaders. So it was really exciting, and we're still kind of in the excitement post summit and moving the work forward. También, I just wanted to share. Excited to be back on the podcast, and we have a lot of great info. So te lo paso para atrás a ti, Brianna.
Thank you. Yes, and I hope that you're able to enjoy. We're going to show some photos while Jose was sharing that context for you to check out. And of course, right, follow us on social media so that you can see all of the recaps and cool trends that we'll be posting. But not only that, make sure that you check out our next stop, right, is in Georgia. We're excited to head to Atlanta, Georgia for the next Poderosa State Summit. And then right after that, our final stop will be in Texas, and McAllen, Texas, to be specific. So the momentum's going. We're here and we're ready to share what's going on with everyone. But excited to have Claudia. I believe this is your second time, right, on the podcast. I think you were here once, or is this your very first? Oh, okay. So this is a very first.
A newbie here.
Yeah, so everybody's say welcome Claudia down below in the comments. Make sure that you share this. If you're listening in and you're Claudia's friends and family, we're happy to have you on. But gonna pass it to Jose, right? I want to know what is going on with the HERES program. We want to highlight important key information that our comunidad could still be accessing, and then what announcements are new. So I'll share the mic with you here so that you can kind of give us a brief overview. Definitely help us explain it, right? Maybe some people are hearing this for the first time and they don't know what that means, but I'll let you do that.
Yeah, Brianna, thank you so much. So the if you haven't heard about it, the HERES program is the Home Electrification and Appliance Rebate Program. It was officially launched back in May. It was launched through the Efficiency Arizona program, which is run under the Governor's Office of Resiliency. The HERES program is something that we were very excited about to be launched. something that we've been waiting for in anticipation. We actually were meeting monthly with the Efficiency Arizona program to help the design and to help kind of think through the outreach strategy for the HERES program. The HERES program comes from the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, which was passed back in 2022. At that time, there were over $900 billion of funds for environmental justice programs, for climate justice, clean energy efforts, initiatives, and the HERES program is one of those. So I guess to quickly recap the HERES program, and if you're someone that is interested in it, if you're hearing this, if you're tuning in, and you're someone that thinks that this can apply to you, I'll also share some resources for where you can connect to get more info. But the HERES program, what it does is it helps families and it helps residents improve their home's energy efficiency. And it does it by offering point and sell rebates for electrical appliances for your home. They're the appliances that qualify for the HERES program rebates they're numbered. They're the heat pumps, the heat pump water heaters, heat pump space heaters as well, induction stoves, insulation, electrical panels. Those are pretty much all the things that qualify under the program. There's a couple more, and like I said, I'll offer you the website where you can go in and see exactly all the appliances that do qualify. Like I said, they're specific, they're numbered, but the appliances and the rebates, they're limited. They're available for a limited time. There's up to $150 million of funds and resources for the HERES program for Arizona. Like I said, it was launched in May, but with the passage of the One Big Ugly bill back in July, that was passed by Congress and signed by now President Trump, we can probably see an end to the program by the end of the year. But that means that the program, that the rebates, it's up, it's available. Like I said, it's up to $150 million of funds, and you can get up to $14,000 in rebates for those efficiency upgrades. Now, I know that was a whole lot of information, but if you're someone that's tuning in and you're interested in knowing how you could take advantage, check out efficiencyarizona.com. Also, Poder Latinx, like I said, we've been on this from the onset. And in October, we're looking to host an application workshop where we're going to help select homeowners apply for the HERES rebate program and connect them directly with a qualified contractor. That's going to happen here in Phoenix in October. Like I said, there's select people, but if you're interested, if you're someone that thinks that this can apply to you, feel free to give our office, our team here in Arizona a call at 602-723-2288. Just to hear, if you want to hear more about the program or get connected, or if you just want to get to know more about the Eco Poder work that we're doing here in Arizona, feel free to give us a call or a text, and we'll follow up with you real soon. But that's just a little bit of what we have going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all of that context. I'm curious to know, I guess, how can community members get involved if they needed to access more information, or if maybe they're not as tech savvy? Is it possible to show up even to like an office or space or something like that?
Absolutely. And again, I think a lot of the work is to make sure that the funds of the program, that it reaches the communities that it was intended to reach, right? Folks that are low income, folks that maybe don't, English isn't their first language. The website's available in Spanish, the information. We offer resource fairs in the community monthly whenever we're out tabling. We have the information in English and in Spanish. And also you can connect with our amazing team. We have our organizer, Claudia, here, and you have me as the coordinator. You can give us a call. And if we need you to come into the office, we'll make that arrangement. Like I said, if you are someone that is looking to make that upgrade, and I know that there's a lot of people that are like, why make the upgrade? Like what is it? What's in it for me? We know that with the increasing temperatures, which we've been seeing in Arizona, you're turning on your AC longer. That means your bills are coming in higher, and we're also seeing the utilities increase their rates. This is one way to lower your bill and also to beat the heat in the summer. So yeah, definitely do check out those links, those resources we shared, and feel free to connect with us. Feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then if we could just throw up the number one more time so that our guests can be able to see that, just so that they have access to it. Again, check out the Arizona office for more support on how you can apply for these um, support, and ask your questions that you need to. Sometimes it's quite simple. It's just a matter of providing a little bit more access to what's going on and understanding. So muchas gracias, Jose, for explaining all that to us and for opening up the episode with that. I'm curious, has anyone shared any feedback at all? Like once y'all have helped them get connected, has they shared any stories post applying?
Yeah, we actually connected with one of the qualified contractors for the program. There's about 30 all across the state, like in different parts: Flagstaff, Prescott, Lake Havasu City. They're really, they've done a great job capturing a lot of contractors in different economies. The one that we connected with here in Phoenix, it's a Latina-owned HVAC company, and they're amazing. They all, I mean, their workers, their team, I don't know how you say, they're electricians. They're both English and Spanish. They're bilingual. They'll be actually present at the workshop to help people with their application. So again, if you're someone that you would like to get walk through the application step by step, just to make sure that you can take advantage of the rebate to its full extent, definitely feel free to reach out. And I know that our social media team, our digital team, they do an amazing job engaging on Instagram, on Facebook. We look at all of the responses, we look at all of the likes, every level of engagement, and it gets back to us, the organizers. So definitely, we invite people that if you're someone that's interested in getting involved, we also have volunteer opportunities. Definitely stay engaged with us, follow us, share, repost, and we'll make sure that to get everyone's voices involved, because that's part of the work that we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then we'll go to a quick commercial break, and right after, we'll connect with Claudia on her experience at the Environmental Justice Panel. This episode was produced in partnership with Climate Action Campaign. For more information on climate wins and how to defend our climate, please visit www.actonclimate.com. Thank you, and now back to the episode. Catch the Arizona Poderosa State Summit Environmental Panel, now available to watch on the Poder Latinx YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in and supporting our work to uplift Latina voices in environmental leadership. Alrighty, super excited to talk about the panel. And Jose, feel free to jump in right with any as folks that we saw the panel as we were watching you, Claudia, like things that we noticed and want to also share. Definitely excited, right? Can you kind of provide us with a quick summary of what the panel was, what was the impact and the reason for us having it?
Yes, so I would just amplify the fact that the Poderosa Summit was a summit built by Latinas for Latinas to network, to, for me, it really was to see myself in the work. I think, the environmental space specifically is very white space. And so to see other leaders like Pita, like Vianney, like Yara, also very and they're young, younger leaders as well in this space. Like it was just so, I don't have no words still. I'm still processing, like Jose said. But it was really awesome to just be there. And so the panel was Latinas Leading in Environment. We had a bunch of different organizations and some specifically on solar, specifically on clean air. And we kind of just talked about how Latinos are at the forefront of these environmental issues, especially extreme heat. We've, over the years, seen the water access deplete, especially Arizona being a border state. I know we lost a lot of our water to the creation of the border. And then just air pollution and energy burdens. I grew up in a more rural Arizona, and even there's mines, there's power plants and stuff that you can literally just feel the gunk accumulate in your lungs, and just tied it all back to how these challenges, are tied into the day-to-day life, higher utility bills, unsafe conditions for, children. I'm just spoke the other day with somebody about how it's even hard for kids to play outside on the playground, right? Because the sun is so extreme. People are getting burns on the jungle gym. And so just infrastructure changes need to be happening. but also we are kind of facing a lack of resources during these climate disasters. And although the IRA, like Jose mentioned, we had all these protections and we were making progress, but recently there's still work that needs to be done. And it's hard to do with the budget cuts. So those are just some things that, we did talk about, but it wasn't just, highlighting the problems. We did talk about ways to get affordable energy that's also, cleaner energy with the HERES program, with solar. We talked about people wanting to feel energized and how we have podcasts such as this. And as much as I've been doing the work with my family to be like, hey, watch this podcast while you're doing the dishes or or whatever, watch this TED talk about eco bricks. They're not always accessible to our communities, right? And like also, as you mentioned, tech savvy people. And so trying to bring it back to the basic level of, are you even talking about this with your family? Are you talking about it on your ride to your grandma's house? Are you talking about it at Thanksgiving? Are you talking about it with your parents, with your kids? How are you talking about it? And I think that is a common theme, is just making sure we are making noise around this, because this is an issue that's affecting so many layers of our life. And also just education. That is like the most important step, is helping families understand what resources exist, how to access them, and even to like the little things that can be happening. I just taught my little sisters how to make eco bricks, so that's like a big thing they're on right now, where they're like, that goes in the bottle, that doesn't go in the trash. And they're like 5 years old, so it's always funny to hear them call my mom out. We talked about just building networks too. Like, these are a bunch of leaders that I'd never really encountered in this work before. So that was a big part of it as well. Keeping pressure on decision makers. I think I announced it probably 3 to 5 times throughout my talking points that Latinas need to be running for office and making the noise around these types of issues that are deeply affecting our communities. And then obviously just encouraging everybody to see civic engagement as a tool. The following day, we were out registering folks to vote, talking to them about local hearings, and just making sure that their voices are being heard. And so I would say those are the main things, if I could wrap it up.
No, yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for sharing all that with us. And I'm excited, right, to have this discussion. I feel like we didn't really get to debrief it like panel per panel. So this one was close to heart for me, right, as the EcoPolit podcast host. And like you said, our communities are already doing a lot of this environmental justice, sustainable work. It's just that putting the language to it, I think, is where access we want to provide, right? We want to, like, hey, like you said, like recycling, we're doing it all the time, but did you know that you could like even do this or go out of your way to find new ways of reusing stuff and material? I actually wanted to share, when I was listening into the panel myself, I think Pita had shared, a lot of the time we get caught up on doing like webinars, and like people get stuck on like producing the same things. And we also have to ask ourselves, how accessible is that to the community that we're working with, right? And it made me really sit here and think, like, how can we expand the information we're sharing here, even with the EcoPolit podcast, right? Like having it maybe on another platform, or how can we think about like sharing the work that we're doing here even more? So I don't know if you had anything like a response to that, or if anything else that jumped at you, or something that stood out during the environmental justice panel that someone else said.
Well, there's just this experience for me that really brought me to change my degree in college to emphasize on environmental justice. And it was my first ever professor of color. He had us do a body walk, where basically we had to go walk for like a 2-mile radius and see how many bike lanes did we have. If we had a bus stop, did they have a shade cover? Where are we recycling? How are we throwing our trash? What food systems are put in place, and all of that. And it really stuck to me to want to do these like smaller things of like, I've spoken to Jose about, yeah, we should be sending postcards to our Congress members on maybe like our recycled cardboard boxes, so we don't have to waste more paper, or maybe we should be doing, this. And again, back just to the eco brick, just because that's the newest thing that I've introduced to my family, or recycling. And I remember during the pandemic, my mom was ordering a lot of stuff off of Amazon, a lot of boxes, a lot of bags, and we didn't have a recycling system. I had to drive 1.2 miles away with a trunk full of, recyclables just to recycle them. Otherwise, they would have all gone in the trash, and that isn't accessible to everybody. So those are things that I have pushed me to want to do on a bigger level, is like making sure that these policies are going through, making sure that infrastructure is being put in place. So it's not just, we hone in a lot on like SRP and, like utility companies and the Arizona Corporation Commission, but also we should be going to like our zoning and planning commission meetings, and we should be going to our city council meetings. And like, I think people want to be heard. I know that I have sat at tables with my family where they have opinions on all these things that are happening. They just don't know how to get their frustrations out. And so that's where I have shifted after the panel, is after Pita said that. So I've been way more active in the family group chat, dropping links to how to public comment. And yeah, because they have stuff to say. It's just a matter of how are we directing them to process that information in a way where they feel like it's effective and not just yapping at a wall, right?
No, for sure. And I think me and Jose for sure can follow in those footsteps, right? Like sending out our surveys, our public comment links to all of our group chats. Jose's like, I already do it. No. But even creating new ones, right? Like of asking our friends, like who wants to get active. You can even do it on social media, right? Creating these group chats with community members and colleagues and other spaces. So thank you for that. That really helps me also think about how are we explaining this to even the closest people around us. So with that, I'm curious, how do you feel that our community members responded to the panel discussion that we had? Was there anything that you heard maybe from someone, if they came up to you after, or even way after the fact, right? Ya pasó una semana. Has there been any stories shared with you or experiences that anyone?
Yes, I will say that I was reached out to by a lot of people, some other nonpartisan organizations, and realizing that those spaces existed, I guess, is like a big thing for me. Is I didn't realize how many other organizations were focused on environmental, aside from the ones we partner with, or also other people realizing that we do environmental work. And I've been able to meet with these like nonpartisan groups. I went to a panel on Monday where I'd realized that there's a lot of initiatives that are happening on a local level, and that's been really awesome to see. I just went and they spoke about the Tempe Library and how the solar panels over the gas station parking lot, they power like 70% of that plaza, and how little things like that are making the change, and how it's because of public comment at the city council meetings and stuff like that. So that's also what kind of shifted my, yes, we have been talking a lot about the Arizona Corporation Commission and holding our Congress members accountable, but then also seeing the impacts it's having at a local level. One of the school board members had ran a whole campaign on getting all of their schools in the district to have solar as well, and ended up winning, and they just started building that, and that's so awesome to see as well, right? Or adding those more sun reflective canopies over playgrounds, right? Because teachers and students both need that time. But yeah, so little things like that is making those connections, and it really has like broadened my horizon of how deep this all goes and how passionate people are, because environmental justice sounds so niche, but it is really so connected to everything else. And I think more people are realizing that, so that's a win.
No, that's great to hear. Jose, I don't know if any community members shared any information with you that you want to share with us.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight a lot of the amazing work that Claudia has been picking up here in Arizona. She's been attending some of the meetings at the Arizona Corporation Commission. Like she was sharing, a lot of the decisions, a lot of the policies and rules that are being put in place are overlooked by the Arizona Corporation Commission, but they're having direct impacts on families. And I really appreciate her perspective and her background on environmental justice, on how it impacts communities and families. I think at the end of the day, that's what it's about. That's what Ecopoder and that's what the environmental justice movement is, connecting people with their actual lived realities, with what we're seeing, the impacts to our health, the impacts from the poor air quality to having safe, reliable water, to just our public utilities and our elected agencies, or sorry, our governing agencies. Are they making decisions that are going to put us on the right track forward, right? Are we moving towards affordability and accessibility? Are we moving towards a cleaner, more reliable power grid so that it doesn't go out in the summer, so that there aren't power outages and our families aren't being affected? I think a lot of the work that we're doing is to bring the information and to make it readily accessible, but then also to empower the community to make their voice heard at the right moment, right? So I know that Claudia is putting together monthly meetings, and she's attending the ACC meetings. If you're a student or if you're someone that's passionate about environmental justice, those are opportunities to engage. I will say from the recent events that we've been, especially on community colleges, there's a lot of excitement from students and youth about climate justice and about what they're seeing in their communities. We've had people calling in asking about support assistance for their electric rates, utility rates, for relief from extreme heat. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I think a lot of our work has been just connecting those needs with the work that we do, with the advocacy that we're able to do. But no, I just wanted to shout out the great work that Claudia has been leading, and opportunities for engagement for the rest of the year.
Awesome. And me too. I'm really happy to have you on the team, Claudia. When you joined us and I learned more about your background at the environmental justice panel, like you're a fierce to be reckoned with for sure. And very excited, right, to see the work that you and Jose together are going to do for Ecopoder in Arizona. There's a lot of work to be done. And I feel like it starts with representation, and both of you represent the community a whole 100%, right? So shout out to y'all for the work that you're doing. Si no les dan sus flores, aquí se las doy. Make sure again that you're staying connected with us, right, in Arizona on social media. Check us out so that we can share those opportunities with y'all as well. If you're listening in and you're like, man, I want to do this, or I didn't know you could, that this is the opportunity, right, to get involved. But I want to know from your perspective, Claudia, as an organizer, what are some of the next steps that you feel like we need to prioritize and keep the momentum going? Especially with like the fierce women that we had on the panel, right? Like what things did they share with you that you're now like, I'm going to bring this forward?
Yeah, I'll go back to just, again, education and making it accessible to people. I've already started plans. As Jose said, I booked up my calendar with the zoning and planning committees. With there's certain cities that have like committees specifically about how they're utilizing their water, stuff like that, and making sure that I can then, after that, share what they spoke about in the meeting with our community, whether it's a language barrier that needs to be filled or just people don't know those things are happening in general. And typically too, all these meetings are happening while we're at work, right? So that's another reason we need to be amplifying what is happening at these meetings behind these closed doors. We just had, it's Climate Week. I don't know if you know that. So there are a lot of stuff, a lot of events coming up. There's a lot of town halls coming up. I know Jose had mentioned too, we're going to have our HERES program application process, just because it can be a lot of like limbo, just because you have to be within a certain financial bracket, or, are you a renter? Most people are, just going through that process and just connecting more with, churches, unions, elected officials, and making sure that we are having a seat at the table to represent our base and make sure that they understand that this is literally affecting our day-to-day, and it's not just a bill that's coming before them for no reason, right? Those are kind of the conversations I've been having since leaving that. But I think too, a lot of the other panelists are very good at what they do, and I'm so excited to keep working with them and getting to know them.
Yes, and honestly, like how often do you catch all of these environmental justice advocates and climate advocates, right, in one room? And I think I really had to sit with that when I was at the panels. I mean, for the other issues as well, right? For all of the things that we were talking about, but to have y'all sit down, right, and really talk together, because you're constantly running around in spaces together, or running into each other, I should say. But it's awesome to see that we were able to create that solidarity in the room. And then all of the women that were sitting there and listening in that might have just not either knew about these things or just needed a little bit more of the space to create those thoughts around environmental justice, right? So very happy that you were able to hold that space for us all. Thank you so much again for being a panelist and for joining us today to cover that. For this part of the podcast moving forward, I wanted to kind of include some interactive questions that we asked on social media. So we'll show those on the screen momentarily. But some of the questions that we had come in were, where can I go online to get more information in Spanish? I know Jose kind of did say this at the beginning of the episode, but if you could kind of reiterate that for anyone who's listening in again.
For more information about the HERES program, you can go to the Efficiency Arizona website. It's efficiencyarizona.com. It gives you options to get the information in English and in Spanish. There's also information about the HOMES program. We're hopeful that that'll be launched soon as well for a more comprehensive evaluation and assessment of your home to improve your energy needs. But for now, the HERES rebates program is up, so you can get the info on the appliances there. But also you can check us out at poderlatinx.org to know more about what we're doing on HERES, but also to hear more about the work we're doing on Ecopoder in total, in general.
Awesome. And then our other question was, if this, I believe they meant the HERES program, right? Does this support utility assistance?
Great question. Directly, no. There's another program for utility assistance that people might be more that people might know. The LIHEAP, it's the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. Just for folks so that they know, the LIHEAP program has kind of been paused, and there's no start date. The funds for the program are there, and we're working with our elected senators to see if we can get that program up and running. There's a great program, helped over 70,000 families in Arizona. But as far as utility assistance, there's nothing that we're aware of or that we're doing directly. The HERES program, the way it helps is you improve your home's energy efficiency, and that'll help lower your energy demand and therefore your utility bill as well. Like I said, there's over $150 million in resources for that, and you can get a rebate up to $14,000 for the number of appliances. So definitely do check it out. That way you can better improve your home's energy efficiency, but also to make sure that you're staying cool during the high heat as well.
And I believe the last one, someone wants to know, how can they get connected with you both, right? The Ecopoder team in Arizona. If they wanted to maybe get some experience themselves or join the movement, how can they connect?
Definitely. That's an easy one. Make sure you're going to our website, poderlatinx.org /events. We have events every month, and we're there in the community, giving out information, engaging, and just helping people take advantage of these amazing resources and programs. Engage us on social media. We have an amazing digital team as well. They're very on it. They're very quick with their responses, and they make sure that any questions or anything that you have on there goes back to the state team. So they always let us know about who's engaging and what's needed. I think those are the two best ways. You can also call into our office. That number was shared here already, 602-723-2288. That way you can reach one of our amazing organizers, one of our amazing staffers here in the Phoenix office.
Awesome. Pues ya lo escucharon. Go ahead, Claudia.
Oh, I was just going to echo that. I think the number is the best way to reach us personally, because on social media it can be a lot, as we are a national org. We got our Georgia Poderosa Summit coming up. But if you do want to reflect on Arizona or get connected with Arizona specifically, our office number is definitely the best way to keep in touch.
Yes, and then I'm going to reiterate here, right? Check us out at poderlatinx.org /events so that you can see some of the events that both Claudia and Jose will be hosting throughout the year. I know the year's coming up to an end, but 2026, right? We have a long way to go when it comes to advocating for environmental justice. So they're going to have a lot of cool events planned, and I'm excited to see what y'all come up with. I know there's a lot of opportunities, right, to gain folks to join the movement. And not only that, like share education resources, and all of the above. Just be in community. Sometimes this work can get overwhelming, and if you're able to join us to just enjoy yourself and be present with us, that would be great. To close us up, right, I just have some final questions. I'm curious to know, in Arizona, to tie in the broader goals of Poder Latinx environmental justice work, what are the challenges that you see that are making it difficult to advance environmental justice in Arizona right now? And then how can our community members get involved so that they can support the work again? Beyond, showing up to events, I know we've talked about contacting state officials, signing petitions, but what else? What actions can they take?
So the first thing that comes to mind is just teaching people the proper paths of where to share their stories, because a lot of elected officials ask for those testimonies. They ask for those stories, the real life experiences that people are having. So teaching and empowering our community members to go out and tell their stories and how this issue is affecting them, because I've seen it. If enough people are going and advocating for this issue, then it makes it easier to advocate to put money toward this specific issue. And as of right now, I would say that is our biggest issue in Arizona, is we don't have the financial structure to continuously push these programs and work on these programs, and sometimes even finish these programs that might have started. A lot of nonprofits kind of had to stop their environmental justice programs because of the national cuts, because of the state budget cuts. And so just encouraging people in that way to storytelling can go a long way. I really believe that. And I think it'll also encourage more people to bring their stories up, realizing that it's not a one person issue. A lot of us are going through this similar things. We're all experiencing it. So that would be my biggest takeaway from this, is understanding we don't have the money allocated for it, but the money exists. It's somewhere. We just need to push it toward this.
Just to reiterate, 100%, 100%. Sharing your story, sharing your personal experience is probably the thing that we're needing the most right now. To be quite frank, there are people that are really hurting from the cuts to lie heap. Businesses that were looking ahead to the clean energy tax credits that are going to be also cut by the latest bill, the big ugly bill. This is really impacting us, and we're seeing the impact. I think for Ecopoder and what we're doing at Poder Latinx, we're really engaging, and we see the opportunity at the Arizona Corporation Commission and the public utilities. They're still making decisions on rate increases, but they make a number of decisions that is going to impact the future. But I just want to reiterate times 10, lo que dice Claudia, sharing your story, compartiendo tu historia, tu experiencia. I think that's where our power lies right now. We need to hold our elected officials and these agencies accountable to their actions, and the opportunity to do that is by speaking up. So yeah, times 10 on that. Definitely reach out, connect with us so you can learn how you can do that. Because there's a few opportunities coming up here real soon.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, Jose, do you want to highlight our Ecopoder Arizona Platicas and how folks can get connected there?
Absolutely. Everyone is well aware. We have the next Ecopoder Platicas live on Tuesday, September 30th. I believe we go live at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time at that time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern Time if you're on the East Coast listening in. We have a great one. I'll be joined by a close friend, Dr. Fiorella Carlos Chavez. I've been friends with her for a couple of years. We connected a couple of years ago. I was a student at the migrant program, and she connected with the migrant program for her research. She does a lot of research with the migrant farm worker community, which is a community that I come from, that I represent in a lot of the work that we do. We know the trials and tribulations that farm workers face, pesticide exposure, extreme heat, and just the overall impact that the environment and labor conditions have on the health and well-being of farm workers. But we're gonna how do you say? We're gonna elaborate off of that. That's not the right word, but we're gonna extrapolate it to talk about the health and impact overall on the Latino community that environmental factors have on us. So it's going to be a great one. It's going to be a thought-provoking discussion. Very excited for you guys to meet Fiorella, but make sure you're tuning in because we go live every month. We bring a special guest to talk about the most exciting issues.
Yes, and if you're listening in past September 30th here, right, it's all right. You can always check it out on YouTube, and then we also do posts on Facebook and Instagram, so you can rewatch that, and then also rewatch all the ones before that. Claudia talked about storytelling, and I feel like that's kind of what all of our guests do on that specific platform. They're able to tell their stories and the work that they're doing and how it's all interconnected, right? But that's it. That's the end of our episode today. Thank you both, Claudia and Jose, for joining us today. Very happy to have you both here. And again, excited to just keep up the work that we're doing in Arizona with Ecopoder. I can't wait to see all of the things that you're going to achieve in the next couple of months. But again, check us out if you're in Georgia and you're like, what is the Poderosas Summit? It's going to be coming to Atlanta, Georgia. The Poderosa State Summit will be on, I believe, the 25th and 26th of October. So make sure that you register for that. And then after that, we're headed to Texas, y'all. So make sure that you also check us out there. I don't know if you want to leave our guests with anything in the end. I'll let y'all take the mic.
Yeah, no, make sure you're following us on social media, Poder Latinx. We're all over Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That way you know what's going on. That way you know how to stay plugged in. And as always, Brianna, thank you so much for this amazing podcast and all the information. I always appreciate the invite onto the show.
Yes, happy to have y'all. And lastly, right, a final reminder to y'all, if you're not registered to vote already, make sure that you do. Go to poderlatinx.org/vote. How can we? I almost forgot myself, right? The November elections are right around the corner. Voter registration deadlines are also coming up in October, so please get vote ready. We're excited to be celebrating some of those civic holidays that are coming up. But gracias. We'll be seeing y'all on the next one. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Brought to you by Climate Action Campaign at Poder Latinx.